A tout would feel so confident to execute an idea or an advice that was shared by a driver. And so will a nurse who will feel so confident to execute an advice that was shared by a doctor. So I want to take this discussion to our marital status, So would you, as a married person or as a single person, a divorced or separated person, borrow an advice from other people of the other marital status? And what makes you consider their advice, and what do you look up to when you're getting these advices, right? So stay tuned as I share my thoughtful insights regarding this topic we are talking about today. And I want to hear from you. What do you think, or what have you done, and what do you consider, and whom do you consider, and why, to when you are taking their advices. So guys, welcome on board. My name is Josephine, and I'll be taking you through this conversation. I really want to hear your opinion on this topic. Let me know at the comment section below. And I'll be back within the very next few seconds. Let the intro play. So for me, I want to get any advice when my mind is so stable, when I'm so settled, and I don't want to do this in a rush. I don't want to do this in either feelings. I don't want to do this when I'm full of anger. I just want to do this when I feel comfortable about me, when I am really me. I don't want to mess around with myself, because I understand the circumstances of making a decision when you are angry or when you have some other feelings just around you. It's good when you first consider your peace of mind before you get any advice out there, so that at least you can be able to understand, and you can be able to understand the idea, and you can be able to digest that idea. So if you don't have the experience of the advice that I'm looking for, why should I consider you at the first place? For example, a tout would feel so comfortable receiving any advice from a driver, because first of all, they are working on the same lane of work, the same class of work, the same range of work. So whatever the tout could be passing through, the driver might have passed through that. So let me put my story, or let us put this discussion back to this sample of the driver. Why should you ask an advice from someone who is not married and you're married? That means you are simply getting an advice from people who are not experienced from what you're looking for, So it definitely means that you'll get an advice of a lesser class, or of a lesser meaning than what you wanted. It's always good to look forward for, if you are looking forward to get an advice, get it from that person who have already passed through there, who have already experienced there. First of all, maybe being a single mom, I have a reason to listen to a married couple, any married person. I can also listen to any divorced or separated person. The reason is this: first, at this passage of life, me being a single parent, I'm looking forward to getting married at some time, and I could be looking for any advice regarding marriage. Probably if I'm in a process of initiating my marriage process, I have a good reason to look for an advice from a married couple. The second thing, if I'm a married person, of course, and I feel like I need to dissolve my marriage, I still feel like there is that need, or there is that thing that I would consider to ask an advice from a separated person or a divorced person. You never know if they went through the very same thing that you are going through before they made their decisions. So it is well explanatory to why you should consider asking those people for advice. But let me categorize the kinds of advice that I would borrow from those different classes of people. One, I would ask a married person regarding financial advice, health advice, marriage advice, or any other advice that I would need from them. And of course, the same applies if I want to get any advice from a separated person or a divorced person. But still, I want to reverse that same thing. I wouldn't give any advice to a person who is married, and if they are looking for any marital advice, I promise you I can't, because I don't understand what goes around marriage life. So if I tell you I understand you, I'll be lying to you. And if I give you an advice, it will be an open mind advice. It's either you leave it or you take it, but I'll give you, depending on the level of my integrity and how I feel that that idea that I've given you or advice will have favored you in one way or another. Of course, I'll also reason with you, because every time someone is asking for an advice, they are somehow vulnerable to lots of things coming to their face, including the advices that they are depending on us to give them. So if you are a married couple and you want an advice from me, you are very open for that. But I won't lie to you. I won't tell you that I understand how you feel, because I don't have an experience of how you feel. So clearly I'll be giving you an advice that's not stable at all, because I don't understand what you're going through. I totally don't understand what's going on with your life. So I'll definitely be giving you an advice that's just like empty, because anytime you give information without experience, what's that? How do you call that, guys? I don't even have a term to explain what that is. And if I was to give an advice, if I was to give an advice to a divorced person or a separated person, of which I don't even understand which kind of advice I would be giving them, and I don't even see myself in that shoe of giving them any information or any advice, actually I don't even know how to place myself. Because first, I'm asking, what kind of advice would these people or would these people be looking for, these separated and divorced people? Not unless it's any advice away from marriage. I would definitely be there and I would tell them something I'm thinking of. Now let's talk about married people getting advice from separated or divorced people. Of course, that means you are looking the same direction of either you are dissolving your marriage, you are getting separated, of which I personally don't have any advice. But do you really think that married people should look for any advice from separated or divorced people? Do you? For me, I think they should, because first of all, these people at some point or at a certain stage, they were there, well, exactly where these couples are. And probably the separated couple or divorced couple probably came across these same challenges that you have now. But the problem is that they will probably give you an advice which they did or which they executed in their marriages, and it ended up leaving them separated or divorced. So it's kind of 50-50 way of choosing who, where, when to get these advices, and advices to choose where you should get these advices. And you should be very open-minded, because you should expect any information, any advice just to come and hit your face, and you decide what do you want, and I feel like the advice should follow the experience. I don't understand why you should ask someone to give you an advice if they don't have that experience. It doesn't make any sense. For me, it doesn't make any sense. Just consider asking an advice from a person who have the very same experience, or who is already where you are. People who already have the experience. People who have passed through where you are, and people who are ahead of you. At least that way I can understand why you are giving me that advice, and I have a reason to take your advice seriously, and that's how I think this whole advice channel should follow its path. Look for someone who is more wiser than you, who is more experienced than you, before you believe or before you take their advice. For me, it would work that way. Otherwise, there is no way I would head backwards looking for any experience for steps that I have already passed. It doesn't make sense. How does it, guys? Let me know what you think at the comment section below. Let me know if your opinion and thoughts matches mine, or let me know where I'm failing. Just let me know, Yeah, and thank you very much for finding time and finding interest to watching this video until the end. If you really do feel like this is the kind of videos I would love to watch, or I've really enjoyed listening to Josephine opinions on this matter or in this discussion, kindly go ahead and subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that you get notified every time I publish a new video. And that's all I had to share with you guys for today. My name is Josephine, and until next time, take care of yourself and ciao. See you on my next video.